Hey there, Kenneth French of Vast Voice, telling business secrets to entrepreneurs. We're very, very happy you stopped by. Either you're going to watch this or listen to this because you want to take your business to the next level. You're probably an entrepreneur who's either just starting out or you've been around for quite a while and you want to take your business to the next level. You're probably a real estate investor, maybe even a real estate agent, maybe a professional or of some sort, professional advisor of some sort. And well, you are stopping by because you need some valuable advice from one of the top industry leaders there is. Anyway, thank you very much. Once again, Kenneth French, Vast Voice, telling business secrets to entrepreneurs. Really glad you stopped by.
Hey kids, we're hanging out with the number one cash home buyer in the United States. Mark Stubler, what's up?
Hey man, how you doing? Thanks for having me on. It's good to visit with you.
That's a big deal, man. The number one cash home buyer in the United States, and it's been the case since 1996, if I remember correctly. Tell me how that's possible, first of all.
Well, it's I guess how is it possible? We're just crazy ambitious, and we have a lot of successful franchisees doing some great things. I will tell you, it's self-proclaimed. Does anybody actually know who the top home buyer is? But I'll tell you, we haven't been around since 1996. I was still in high school in 1996, but we it's been a long time. It's been an incredible journey. We have a lot of franchisees doing some big things, and our real ambition, and I probably elaborated too much on this, Kenner, but our real ambition is building world-class leaders. We want our franchisees having a major impact in their markets all across the country. The byproduct of that is they have successful real estate buying businesses.
Ooh, we're gonna have to unpack that. I like that. You know, our listeners and viewers out there are real estate people, so I think they're gonna like. I know they're gonna like this. So tell me a little bit more. Let's peek behind the curtain. I need to know a little bit more how you can potentially add some value to those people out there.
Yeah, for sure. So for us, the framework of a successful business is internal strategy versus external strategy. Meaning, yeah, you need to know the skills, the techniques, that type of thing. But it's almost like the coach for UConn girls basketball. I think
Gino
it, Gino.
Ariema.
I thank you for saying his last name. I was going to butcher it, but Gino, 12 national championships. My understanding is when he has his team come on, he says, "Look, I don't teach energy and effort, right? The energy and the effort has to come from within." And um, and I believe that real business success and lasting leadership, and leadership translates to impact, comes from personal development, professional development over time.
Mm.
And then the byproduct, as we personally and professionally develop ourselves, is fruits of our labors in our business endeavors, right? And so we have a great time in providing framework within our franchise that obviously the skill, the technique, and those type of things, but we really try to foster, I guess, a platform for our franchisees that they allow their energy and effort to lead out, to develop to internally, and then we'll bring them as they do that themselves, as they continue to grow, as we foster that framework within our organization. Then they can are set up. They have that foundation of sorts to then go have business success, and then we'll teach the skill, the technique, that type of thing.
All right. So, help me. So, what's a perfect avatar? What's someone who really should come on board and take their business to the next level, get really rich, just like you, et cetera?
Well, we run well with people that have experience investing in real estate, solopreneurs that are just ready to build a framework around them. Because our model is not just a mastermind, although it has that element. It's not just a mentorship, the coaching, the ongoing support and coaching, although it has that. It has the learning systems and modules. But you're able to leverage our best practices, everything from lead generation, acquisitions, dispositions, the exit of this property, whether it's a rental, rehab, or wholesale, will help our franchisees, or any variation of those exit strategies that you can imagine, creative finance, etc. Everything from small single family to multifamily. We help our franchisees generate the leads, have the conversations, know how to have the conversations, and then maximize the profit on each project. And we're looking for franchisees or individuals that have experience, that want that support, that community, and that opportunity to step into our model to increase and break through the ceiling of where they're currently at.
I like that. I like the sounds of this. Okay, so wait a minute. Why you? Tell me why you and Joe Homebuyer. Tell me why you guys are special, and then I have a bunch of questions after that.
No, I love it. Well, what I think makes this special today is not so much what I'm doing or my business partner. Sure, we're the founders, and we love the cause that we're going down and the efforts that we're committed to. But the truth is, the reason why Joe Homebuyers becomes special is because of our franchisees. Our community is really, really powerful. And what I mean by that is it's really the community is self-supporting each other in a lot of ways. We break out into regional zones so that they get together often, they strategize, they support each other, they share best practices, they share what's not working, what's working. And that community, the internal leadership, the internal support is what makes us unique and valuable. Now, we have a success coach. We have multiple success coaches on the acquisition side, the disposition side, the marketing side. We're supporting, but at the end of the day, the real power comes because we've attracted just incredible people that are now just doubling down and not only building their own businesses, but supporting each other. And that's where I think Joe Homebuyers become really special.
So as an example, if I'm a solopreneur, I'm out there kind of alone, because sometimes it can be pretty lonely being a solopreneur. Sounds like you're the type of group that can help kind of make me into, instead of a solopreneur, one-off guy or girl, I could, have a family or a team that can kind of help propel me going forward.
That's exactly right. I love the word family. I'd like to very much that way that there's a mutual effort invested in the success of the individual, so that you're not trying. Because so many of us hit a ceiling. You're hitting the ceiling at and I could pick arbitrary numbers, but we all hit ceilings at different stages of the business. And to have a trusted partner that's invested in their success and a community that's invested in their success to break through those ceilings. Some ceilings are at different phases for each of us. Oftentimes it's a skill that needs to be developed, or some delegation that needs to occur, or both. And we understand, identify that, and help build the roadmap for our franchisees.
And you have them. Obviously, you've been doing it for a long time. You're successful, so you have all the component pieces, systems in place. I gotcha. All right. So let's say I'm going to try to throw a hard one at you. Let's say I'm 40 years old, and I have a net worth of $3 million, and all my cash is outlaid into real estate. I think you have a creative finance arm, or you have a bent to it to help one get financing.
Sure.
What is that, and how then can I take it to the next level? Instead of having a net worth of 3 million, I could take it to 6 million.
Sure. So what we specialize in is helping individuals find off-market, deeply discounted properties. So getting the phone to ring, because ultimately, to create a thriving real estate business, you need two things to be doing well. I believe, according to Mark Stubler, you need marketing and sales, right? So the marketing is, you have to have people to talk with, right? And then the sales arm, I think, is everything from the acquisition through the exit strategy. That's, the whole process of optimizing the sales. So we help our franchisees. So if you're 40 years old, net worth of 3 million, and you want to double your net worth over the next, whatever period of time, you've got to have opportunities come in front of you. And then you've got to obviously leverage your current assets to multiply your efforts, right? Whether that's for a line of credit, whether that's to liquidate some of it so that you have additional capital to then invest in either some of the opportunities that come across your table, or there's so many channels with real estate, right? Once you get going on it, you start with residential. A lot of people start in residential, single family, multifamily, and then they get into commercial, they get into land development, they get into different things. And so those avenues open up as you turn on the marketing arm and start to target people. And so some of our franchisees are going to focus more on some of these variations and not as much on single family, where others are going to focus entirely on small multifamily and single family. But at the end of the day, it boils down to marketing and sales and getting those two systems dialed in.
And that's what you're good at. I bet you're a good marketer overall.
That's right. You got to get the phone to ring. You got to have people to talk with.
Got it. And so you would teach me to do that, and then my phone would ring, and then I would find off-market deals, huge equity upside.
That's right. And then the acquisition element, and that's really the fun part. How are you providing value to the seller so that the seller says, exactly. Actually, recently we had a family call us that was actually listed on the market, and working with the agent as well. But essentially, she found us on the website, coordinated with the agent, and ultimately with the seller, said, look, I've only had it listed for 13 days. I'm impatient. I want to get this going. I want to put it under contract. I want to close next Wednesday, type thing. And that fast pace. That's where the speed and convenience comes in. So that's just a granular little example of what I'm mentioning, but that's what we're good at is being available for those that benefit from speed and convenience, and then the acquisition side is how can we provide her value? So identifying the speed, identifying the things that are important to her in addition to just a fair price. The acquisition element is critical. That's why there's so many coaching programs out there. So many people are trying to figure out how to optimize the acquisitions, both managing all the leads, the follow-up, the pipeline, but then also when you're in a living room, there really is an art to maximizing profit per deal. So getting the phone to ring is critical, and then optimizing revenue by providing, wild amount of service to the individual working with so that they feel like this is the person that I need to be working with. And then ultimately structuring the negotiation so that you're providing so much value that the seller identifies that, hey, I'm willing to take a discount relative to what maybe would be the ideal selling price because of the value that this individual can provide me.
Yeah, I get it. So by the way, what's your background? Are you a marketing guy, real estate guy, finance, accounting? How'd you get into what you're doing now?
So are you ready to be underwhelmed?
Oh, geez. Yeah, I'm ready.
My background is sales. It's just selling fencing and decking products.
Serious?
So I served a 2-year mission from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So I'm a missionary, white shirt and tag, knocking on doors. Did that at 19 to 21. Come home. I do what every good, ambitious, individual needs to do. I joined a multi-level marketing company, right?
Yeah.
I was going to get rid. Yeah, I'm from Utah, so I'm going to join that. Got my teeth kicked in for about 2-3 years, but it provided incredible training in terms of grit and hustle and tenacity. Did door-to-door sales. And then I ended up working with the company for 10 years selling fencing and decking. Great company, great culture. Learned a lot about culture, learned a lot about sales, learned a lot about providing value in that setting. You have to sell a fence, but there's a million of fence providers. What was I doing to differentiate myself? And crazy as it sounds, that fencing framework, meeting with sellers, thousands of people over 10 years, created a perfect training ground for identifying what we now call our JHB way. JHB stands for Joe Homebuyer, but it also stands for join, hear, build. So join forces with the seller, hear their needs, and build a solution. So when we're in a living room, the most important thing is not the house, not the price. That's transactional. We really try to join forces. And ultimately, we want the seller to feel like, and we want to get to the point where we're on the same team, and any of the obstacles, the market, the interest rates, the condition of the property, that's a common obstacle we're working together to solve. And we're hearing through discovery all the needs that they have, and then we're building a solution. And we either work together or we don't. And maybe that solution is that they work with somebody else, or maybe that solution is they put it on the market, or maybe that solution is find another way for them to sorry, my mic made the noise there, but maybe we find another solution for them. But at the end of the day, that's what we work diligently to figure out.
Yeah, I get it. That's an interesting background, man. You've cruised it. It sounds like that's awesome. That's an interesting story. So, let's give me. How about this? Give me an added. Oh no, give me a scenario where you've completely helped a, I guess, franchisee or an investor, whatever you want to call it, who was, I don't know, down in the dumps, and now all of a sudden you turned his or her life around, and now they're a billionaire. I don't know. That's a joke, but yeah, give me something like that because I know you've had some turnaround stories.
Well, if we're talking about turnaround stories from supporting our franchisees, you have really good, capable individuals being successful in real estate, and they just don't have a ton of clarity on how they scale their business. And so, I think of one in particular that from the general Carolina area that comes in already having success, already a good cultural fit, likes to provide value to sellers, does business the right way. So we're already, there's synergy from the get-go, but not knowing what ways to improve marketing and sales, the two components I said are most critical. And we come in and we say, all right, here's how we're going to optimize marketing. We get them on the right marketing channels with the right activities. And then because a lot of people try to solve a sales problem by putting more money into marketing. But I'm telling you, you got to master your sales process, meaning that lead generation all the way through acquisitions. So it's just been fun. This specific individual, his name's Greg. We were able to really just invest into the small turns of the dial in each of these areas. You take a great person with already success, and he's multiplied his efforts significantly, his impact and what he's accomplishing in his business by just virtue of identifying the areas in which he could have the little pivots that make the biggest difference. And we always think of revenue in first position. What are the best activities that I can invest in that will deliver the quickest and most upside, right? And that's where I think we've gotten really good, is helping individuals identify that and then run their businesses that way.
I think it's funny. There's so many little tweaks you can make to help someone's business that, us as solopreneurs, I'm in the I'm not a solopreneur, but I'm kind of in this boat where sometimes my head's down and I don't, look at the potential little tweaks that could, exponentially grow my business. So I think it makes sense to be a part of a community like you have, or a mastermind, whatever you want to call it. Cause it's hard being alone out there. And
Yes.
we have a lot of our listeners, a lot of our viewers are alone out there, and they need, to take advantage of something like this.
It is. I mean, we can all relate to even if you're an introvert, there's just value in collaboration, right? The Jim Rohn comment, you become I'll butcher the comment or the quote a little bit, but you become like the 5 people you spend the most time with. And as we surround ourselves with people that stretch our perspective and challenge us to think big and challenge us to challenge status quo, so to speak, you get energy, that lifts your spirits, that gives you hope, that gives you trajectory. And so yeah, I think we can all relate to the soulpreneur, or being alone can be very, very daunting. And even if you have people around you, being an entrepreneur is oftentimes feels like you're isolated, right, when things are tough.
Totally. And so tell me a little bit more about your communities, because it sounds like it's your franchisees. I know that it can be regional as an example, but what other benefits are there from being in the community as a franchisee?
Well, we meet you where you're at. So we have, when you first come on, you join a community, you join those that are at the same stage, various levels of just getting started, a handful of deals. And then we have different tiers, masterminds within the franchise, with
Ah,
the whole objective of being those that are top producers or running with the top producers. Now, the others will feel the influence of the top producers in various settings, but we really get everybody together, meeting them where they're at, which challenging them to grow into the next mastermind, so that they can feel that progression, feel that influence. Because you know, uh, well, I think of any of us, right? Sports teams or whatever. You y- you almost need to have that next tier above you to have something to inspire you, some framework of. So you get that influence, but then you get the immediate effect of meeting with people that can collaborate, share the frustration, share the heartache, share the success that is in the similar bucket that you're in right now, and so that you're you know the relatable aspect of that. So that's where we focus our masterminds. So they're very specific to the needs of the individuals, and then you just progress to the
mm,
top tier masterminds over time.
yeah, that's pretty smart. I get it. I get it. Before I forget, how does someone get a hold of you if they're interested?
Yeah. So joehomebuyerfranchising.com. So Joe
Can you spell
Homebuyer
that
is,
for me? Can you spell it for me?
yeah, Joe Homebuyer Franchising is JOE. Home buyer, HOME, franchise, home buyer, BUYER, franchising, baby. If you guys can't see Kenner, he's laughing at me because he didn't expect me to spell that part. But JoeHomebuyerFranchising.com. If you want a sales framework, the best framework that gives you a video tutorial of how to engage with sellers to do this JHB way, this join here build, you can go to the joeway.com, and that is a free introductory exposure to how the 5 steps of negotiation work. And it's a great opportunity for anybody listening that says, hey, I've always wanted to improve this process of when I'm in a living room engaging with a potential person that I want to buy their property. I think you'll find that framework extremely helpful, and that's thejoeway.com.
Oh, the Joe Way. Gotcha. It's
Thejoeway.com.
the way. All right. So then, what's it like? What's the onboarding like? By the way, this isn't commercial, but I just think his story is interesting. So that's the reason I'm kind of zeroing in on his company and the onboarding, et cetera. Anyway, so what's it like to onboard? What is it like? Does it take a month? Take a year? What's it like?
Well, onboarding is immediate. So the minute our franchisees on board, they get access to the online portal. They get access to their success coach. We start onboarding one-on-ones, building out a roadmap custom to their ambitions and their market, right? Setting up their marketing strategies, et cetera. But then you come out to Utah for a 4-day intensive training. And for those that are already established businesses, they bring their acquisition manager, their general manager out, and we'll train them. Or when they make those hires in the future, they can send them out to Utah indefinitely for free. We train and continue to support our franchisees. I mean, that's the whole thing with the franchise model. It's ongoing support. It's the framework. That's right. So it's the framework for, just lifelong partnership. And that's why I love the model is for us to be successful at corporate, we only are successful if our franchisees are successful.
Yeah.
So our entire motivation is to get aligned, support, provide the framework and additional assistance that any of the franchisees would need to accelerate their experience and growth.
I got it. And you also, just like whatever McDonald's, people are coming in because of the name, I assume, but also you guys give leads at least sometimes.
That's
You
right.
got not support, but also leads because your name's out there as the number one cash buyer out there, correct?
That's right. Yeah. And we continue to grow that influence the best we can. That's right. To
And
make
you're
that more and more meaningful.
and you're doing more. You're doing on the corporate side. You're also doing marketing, being a member of podcasts and social media, et cetera. Correct?
Yeah, the way that we help people learn about Joe as being an option for their real estate journey is opportunities like this. We're doing webinars and podcasts, and we're partnered with some fairly big names. Jerry Norton, kind of the guru on YouTube. He owns several franchises, Joe Homebuyer franchises. Brent Daniels owns a Phoenix franchise. And so these are guys that are also coaches. These are guys that also have influence in the industry, and yet they leverage the Joe model to help support their home buying and real estate investing and overall efforts.
No, I gotcha. So they can do something on the side or keep this as on the side. It could be either one. It's pretty flexible, is what you're telling me.
That's exactly right. So they leverage their teams and their operators to work with our team to run their businesses, so that they can still be coaches and still run an investing business.
Yeah, I get it. We deal with a lot of coaches, but and then what about? I gotta assume. I know the answer to this. Yeah, theoretically, can someone in Canada do it as an example?
Yeah, so we do all throughout the country. We're not technically where we're official franchise. You actually have to get approved wherever you're selling. So the governing body of Canada would have to approve Joe Homebuyer, and we're not actively promoting that in Canada.
No, I got you. So I would have a whatever, not a domicile, but a geographical area in which I would be able to
That's right.
or whatever, be an affiliate or
A territory that you can rock and roll in. That's right.
that's exactly that's that. So meaning, I guess they would go to thejoeway.com to be able to figure that out, or to your other website to figure out if there's an available whatever geography that would be available to me.
That's right. Yep. That's exactly right. We have most of our territories are available. We have some Carolina territories that, only Greensboro is sold out. Utah is sold out. But we have availability in a lot of areas throughout the country.
No, yeah, that's pretty smart. So you're not competing with one another, and it keeps that family, as you love and underscore that term. It's a family atmosphere. I would think more so because there's geographical boundaries in this example.
Yeah, the territories are structured in such a way that you can have more than one franchise in the area, but we can't afford to cannibalize their efforts. And so we structure it in such a way so that they can be collaborative, not competitors.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. And you have the Utah franchise, so I can't go in there.
That's right. Well, we actually have 4 of us in Utah.
Yeah.
So that's at least at a minimum, that's where the title number 1 home buyer comes from, because collectively with the 4 of us in Utah, there's nobody buying more homes in Utah than
Are you serious?
Well, you've got some big players in Utah, but
I
we've got
know.
3 other franchisees other than corporate here in Utah. So as a group, as the 4 of us, yeah, I would say there's no question we're moving and shaking.
Nice work. Really nice work. So, okay, let's get ready to land this plane. What's one thing that we haven't talked about that you think can add value to a listener viewer out there with respect to, let's say, real estate?
Well, where my mind goes is actually something I alluded to a little bit, but I think you'll find that the most universally, the things that I think provide the most value are influence and impact. So we have a nonprofit by the name of Joe Cares, and this is where annually our franchisees come together and we, help, communities. Either we come together or franchisees do it in their own community, and we give back, right? And why do I share that? because we really want to foster an environment for our franchisees that they're developing, they're growing. So all that to say, that's not dialed in perfect. Our impact is really pretty minute when it's all said and done today in relation to all the things we could be doing, but it's growing and we have vision to what the impact we can have. So I think you'll find the real challenge I'd give any listener is, what is your plan to have impact and influence? And it really could just be as basic as, what are you doing personally to develop? That's the journey I'm on, so that at the end of the day, am I having impact and influence among the 4 kids I have, right? I have 1 son, 3 daughters. Am I doing it right there? Or at least do they know I'm trying, right? Am I having impact in my community, my neighborhood, and whatever the outreach is? So you probably got a little different answer than you anticipated, but I'm just really adopted this idea and had a great time at studying the greats, John Maxwell and others that are really, promoting this personal development, because that's where I believe all real business success comes from. Because you can do these multi-million-dollar projects in real estate and be really financially free, but at the end of the day, I think the real enjoyment comes from impact, and impact comes from developing from within that leadership development.
Ooh, that's a good answer. Look at Mark, huh? That's a really good answer.
Well, it's very much a journey I'm on, and I hope that if I share that with somebody, they feel challenged to say, all right, what's my path? Am I doing that? Because that's where my fulfillments come from.
If nothing else, it'd be interesting to chat with you about that, but also really about, Joe Homebuyer, because I think it sounds like it's going to add some value to some of the people that are out there. And I appreciate you being
I
on.
hope
I really
so.
do. Seriously.
I hope so. Well, no, it's a pleasure. I appreciate the great questions and visiting with you, and I know you've got great people that are listening. So hopefully there was some nuggets in there that challenges us all to think a little different.
I'm sure there were. Well, once again, this is Ken French, Vast Voice, telling business secrets to entrepreneurs. Thanks, Mark. And thanks for listening and watching, guys.